I found this old drawer on the side of the road and thought it would be perfect to upcycle. To start this project, I want to remove the handle from the drawer. The drawer already received a good cleaning, so I'm ready to go ahead and give it a light scuff sanding. I've chosen this beautiful soft blue paint to update it. I also want to paint inside the drawer as it's going to be visible as well when I'm done. While the drawer is drying, I'm going to start working on these legs. I reclaimed them from another project, and I think they're going to be a perfect match for the drawer. They are ready for painting, and I'm going to use the same blue paint that I used on the drawer. With everything painted and dry now, it's time to attach the legs to the drawer. I'm using some strong wood glue and adding it to the top of each leg. To highlight the little details on the legs, I'm going to put some white wax into the crevices. To add a little playful touch to the drawer, I want to add some colorful fun paper to the inside. With a little double-sided tape applied to the back of the paper, it stays in place perfectly. I love how cute this project turned out, and there are so many ways I can use it.
I found this TV table that's kind of in rough shape. I need to clean it up and sand down any of these rough edges and get a little bit of the shine off there so I can paint it. I'm also using this kind of outdated nightstand. I'm just going to use one of the drawers. I'll first need to take off the handle and the metal hardware on the side. I'm going to clean it up and get any of the residue off of it, sand it down a little bit, and get it ready for paint. I'm painting the folding table a soft gray with a matte finish. This is going to take a couple coats, so I'm just going to do a light coat for now, and then I'll come back and do another light coat. I'm giving the handle, which is kind of this mixture of wood and metal, a nice coat of a metallic bronze color. For the drawer, I am adding a white chalk paint. Because I am adding a light color over a dark color, this is going to take a couple of coats. Again, just using a really light coat, letting it dry for about 20 minutes, and then coming back and adding more coats until I have the coverage that I want. This is going to be an indoor plant stand for me, so there's no need to seal or protect any of these painted pieces. So I'm going to place the drawer right on top of the folding TV stand, and I do need to secure it. This drawer actually slips really nicely right on top of that top of the TV stand, so I'm just going to use some wood glue to adhere it. If you're making one of these at home, you may want to add some screws in depending on how the drawer fits on top of the stand. Now it is ready for plants. So the first thing I'm going to do here is take a thick plastic bag and I'm going to cut it down to size. This is going to line the bottom of the drawer. I want to be able to water my plants, and if any of that water comes out the bottom, it's not going to damage the wood in the drawer. And then the nice metallic hardware adds back on with just the 2 screws. Now it's time to add some plants. This is the fun part. I've gathered up a number of plants from around my house that are going to look really good together. This is a pretty deep drawer, and so I'm using some pieces that'll add some height. So I can put some larger plants in the back and some smaller ones in the front. I'm even adding a faux plant in here, which is totally fine. You could fill the whole thing with faux plants if you wanted. That was a really simple and straightforward project, making a plant stand out of some thrifted furniture. I hope this inspired you to make one for your home.
Let's turn this nightstand into storage for your kitchen or bathroom. I used some scrap 2x4s cut in half lengthwise to get 4 pieces, or you can get some 2x2s for the same look. I used my miter saw, but you can use a jigsaw or circular saw to do this as well. Cut the wood to the desired length and sand it using 220 grit. Then I decided which stain to use. I went with Varathane and English chestnut. After staining all 4 pieces, I measured how far apart I wanted the drawers to be and screwed them into the sides using wood screws. Once you've got the first piece screwed in, do the other sides, and voila, you've got yourself a storage rack. You can leave it as is or add some wheels to make it portable.
I had a few drawers left over from an upcycle project I did, and I've got 3 of them, and I've got the perfect solution for them. First thing though, I want to keep those wood runners under there. Those are going to come in handy later, but what I do need to get rid of is the plastic guides on the back. They're stapled in, they're easy to do, just pop each of the staples. Once I get those out, I just pop that off. It's not a problem. Next, I want to get rid of the hardware because I'm going to go with new hardware on my next project. I'm going to take the bigger drawer, put it in the middle, and the 2 small drawers on the side, and then I need to measure the whole width of the project. Take that width, and I'm going to transfer it over to a 1x6. I need to cut 2 equal parts of these 1x6s and lay them across. One's going to go on the front, and one's going to go on the back. Once I got those laid in place, I just used some brad nails to hold them down. You can use glue if you want, or screws, but it just seemed easier to use some brad nails, just pop them through, and I did quite a few. It's nice and strong, and then I'm going to tip it up on its side because now, once I get all the dust cleared, it's time to paint. Got to use a high quality primer. Primer is so important because it's what makes the paint stick to the other paint. So I'm going to put this on. Now, you only need one coat. A lot of people put more than one, but I just need to put one good coat, and it doesn't cover the whole thing. It does look a little messy at first, but it's okay. Go ahead and get that on. You're going to let it dry for a couple hours. The longer it dries, the better it works. It's time for the paint, and what we're going to need is a good quality cabinet paint. Once I put that on, I'm going to use a nice foam brush and put it on, and I'm going to make it silky smooth. It's going to take a couple of coats. This project did take 3. Now I'm going to lay it on its side, and it's time for some wheels. I bought this whole thing for $9.95. I'm going to go ahead and mark these wheels. They got 4 holes that go on the bottom, and I'm going to pre-drill because I don't want to split any wood when I put the screws in. Once I get it pre-drilled, I can put it back in place and put the screws on. It's going to work really good. I'm going to put 4 wheels on, and look, they're caster, and they turn and they spin really nice. Once I get that done though, it's time to put onto the new hardware. It's hard to put these on sometimes, so I take a piece of tape, I put it down where the screw holes go, and then I pull it off and then put it on the cabinet where I want to drill it. Go ahead and drill some holes through where you marked it on the tape. Once you get that drilled, you can just go ahead and pull that tape right off. Put the new screws in, and then carefully but securely put the screws in and put the new hardware. On the ends, I just put some knobs because those work great. And now I'm going to slide it into place. But look at this. This is our guest room. And the great thing is I can put some extra blanket for those chilly nights and store them underneath there. You can also put seasonal clothes underneath. But once you get it full, you can just slide it underneath. Look at that great upcycle project. It actually turned out really good, and it didn't waste any of the drawers that I had from my last project.
I found this little side table at a thrift store and knew it had potential. First, I measured where the legs ended and marked my cut line with a pencil. Then I set the depth on my circular saw and carefully cut the table in half. After that, I gave it a good wash and painted it with a creamy chalk paint that instantly brightened it up. For a bit of flair, I grabbed some pretty napkins from my craft stash and decoupaged them onto the top using Mod Podge and a paintbrush. Once everything was dry, I hung it next to my recliner in the basement and added a few decor pieces. I love how this simple and affordable project turned out. It adds both charm and function to a space where a full-size table just would not have fit.
Stone side tables are definitely beautiful, but they're typically very expensive. We can get around that with this little DIY trick. I grabbed 3 pieces of terrazzo stone. I added glue to one side and then put 2 pieces together in a T shape. After that, I added more liquid adhesive to the top and then added the top piece right on top of the T to create the top of my table. I made sure to face all the prettiest sides of the stone toward me so that I could see it when using my piece. I let the glue dry for several hours so that it would be nice and firm, and then put my table into place, decorated it, and was able to enjoy it right away.